I tell you what, every time I hear that song, I just get even more blessed. I love it. It's Charlie Wilson. We all love this gentleman, and he is like live in the studio. Everybody make some noise for the one, the only, Brian McKnight. Welcome, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. What's up, Indy?
Man, we got a big show tonight with Brian McKnight. This place is, have you been there yet?
I haven't been there.
Woo, you're going to love it, Brian.
Good.
It's grown and sexy. It is indoor, it's outdoor, and it's so beautiful, man. Just perfect for the music that you sing.
Yeah, you know, anytime where a few are gathered to hear some Brian McKnight music, I'm always happy. So, traveling as much as I do and not getting to some of the places as often as I would like, it's great to be back here. Kind of where it all started. I remember coming to this station on my very first record, and they've always been so supportive. And I'm sorry for not being here as much as that, because we've never met. This is the first time. It's like I thought I've met every radio person in the world, but it's, you know, finally, you know, better late than never. But it's great to be here.
And I was telling you before we got started, man, I used to do the Quiet Storm. It was all Brian McKnight. I mean,
I'm not mad at that.
So to sing the songs, and we're going to get into your music, but to sing the songs that you sing, the way you sing them, you have to know a little something about love, relationships.
I thought I did. I thought, you know, for most of those records that I've never thought that love really existed, to be honest with you. Not the kind that is portrayed in the movies and in songs. And it wasn't until I actually fell in love for the first time in my life about 3.5 years ago that now I get it. I wrote about moments in time. I wrote about things that were happening at that, you know, at that moment. But now, you know, I have a different optimistic outlook on life because I've let someone into my life the way you're supposed to, you know.
What is the, now that you have that, what does Brian McKnight say the key is to a successful relationship? There are so many people that they belong together, Brian.
You know what? Never having to keep anything from each other. You know, not having any secrets, not having, you know, if your life's an open book, you have nothing to lie about, then you can move forward from a place of trust, and because that's the hardest thing, trusting somebody and trusting them with your heart. So I think, and now I'm sounding like one of those romance novels, but it's really true. Every cliche is true. That's why it's a cliche.
100%.
You know, that's the only way. Is when you don't trust somebody, you can't be with them fully, and you don't want to get hurt either. So you have to have that same kind of trust. You know?
Where'd you get the voice from, though, Brian? You got this falsetto, man, that just goes when you hear it. Even men go, oh! I mean, it just you know how to sing those songs, Brian. Where do you get this voice?
I grew up singing in church, where when you're singing in front of that congregation, it's a different kind of feel. You're trying to elicit a response. You're trying to get people to respond in a certain way. So to do that same thing from a stage, from a secular stage, really shouldn't be that difficult. But I write these songs, so I feel them. And I think that people can really appreciate that fact when they hear me sing. I'm singing from a place of experience because I felt these things.
So you just touched on something. You write pretty much all of your music.
Yeah.
So all of these beautiful songs we've heard over the years, and even all the current stuff, they're Brian McKnight's.
They're mine.
Wow. Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. I got in this business to be a writer.
Okay.
And as I sent out my demos to the record labels and publishing companies, they started asking, you know, who was singing, who was playing the stuff, who was producing. It was like me. Like, want a record deal? I was like, okay, I'll do that till the NBA calls. And the NBA never called, so here we are.
Love of my life, Crazy Love, the only one for me. These are love songs, man. Yeah. One Last Cry, Back at One, your new one, Forever. I was talking to you about it off the air, man. That song is hot right there.
Thank you.
Tell me about it. Where does that come from? Where did Forever come from?
Forever is a combination of what I've been trying to do probably about the last 10 years when the technology changed. As you get older, and I'm older now, you have to walk that fine line of, if I try to be too young, they're going to say, well, that's not what you do. If I do the same old thing, then it's like, well, that's just what he always does. So I've been trying to find that middle ground between the technology and what I actually do, and I think that Forever is finally the combination that seems to work.
Love it. The
best, sonically and musically.
You've worked with a few artists. You've worked it a lot. You've been doing this for a while, and you're very good at it.
Thank you.
If there is there any artist that you like? I know you do a lot of thinking before you write, and we found something. Where do you do most of your writing at?
I don't really have a place. I try not to limit myself as to when the inspiration hits. I always have 5 to 10 new songs working in my head. Look at it this way. Everybody has a playlist in their phone or in their computer. from iTunes that they have with songs that they love. Well, I have that, but I also have an entire playlist of songs that have yet to be written that are constantly going through my head.
Love it.
Yeah.
Is there an artist that you would love to work with?
I want to work with anyone.
Okay.
You know, I always felt like if we can get together and we can come up with something that nobody's ever heard before, then that's the goal.
Okay.
You know, wake up with nothing and end the day with something. That's how I live every day of my life.
You know, I like to just keep things hype too. You know, I love slow dance, but I like to keep it hype. Is there a song that Brian McKnight, when he hears it, even if it's not a Brian McKnight song, when you hear this song, you run to the dance floor? What song would that be?
Oh, you know what does it? It's Michael Jackson every time. You know,
yes!
You know why? You don't have to think about "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough." You don't have to think about "Beat It" or Billie Jean. When you hear it, you know, you just your body starts dancing like Michael, and you're not even trying. Just automatically, you start thrusting this way and that way, and you do a little moonwalk, and you have to catch yourself because your kids are looking at you like, "What are you doing?"
You have no clue what he just said. I am Michael's #1 fan. That's awesome, man.
Well, that's the dance floor. When it comes to the dance floor, you know, you can hear all the. In every club you've ever been to, they can play any other song. The club might be just all right, and all of a sudden, and everybody just leaves what they're doing. Conversation, the dude talking to a girl about to get her number. She's like, "I got to dance." She's running out there. She lost her mind.
Oh man! All right, so we're gonna talk more after your new single, and also your sons are doing some singing.
Yeah. I just signed my oldest son to my label, and his record's gonna come out later on this year. My other son is doing music and photography and some other things. So yeah, we're making it happen.
All right, so we're gonna talk more about that. And we're gonna, from Facebook Live, we have a few questions for you from the fans, man. You got some serious fans in Indy. See, I have to let that play all the way through. You cannot cut off a Brian McKnight song. He will come back at you.
That's the version from the video, because I can hear my car revving up during the bridge. I don't know if you've seen the video, but anyway, that's kind of funny.
Oh, we're gonna have to check that out. After we get off Facebook Live, can we check that out?
Oh yeah,
okay. So Brian McKnight, we were talking about your sons are in the business now. Right. Tell me about that.
Well, it's nice to know that in my family, we passed this musical gene down genetically, and it was great to be able to tell my mom that it didn't stop with me. That my boys, at their ages, when they first started doing music, were even far more advanced musically than I was at that same age. And although the music business has changed and things have, have sort of moved in different directions, it's great to see that they've stuck to it and are now being successful doing the music that they want to do.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. You were on The Apprentice.
Yeah.
With Trump. So, any comments? I mean, was he like this, like when like off the scene, when the camera's not rolling?
You know, when you're on the show, you don't really spend that much time with him. I see him, when you're on the show, you see him twice a day, in the morning when you get your task, and in the evening when somebody's going to get fired. So I can't say that I know him and say that he was this way or that way, but I think he's kind of been the same person as long as we've known him.
True.
So for anyone to be surprised about, at the very least, the things he says and the things he does is kind of silly to me.
Right. I totally agree with that. So our Facebook page, these are what our listeners are saying.
Okay.
So Julie basically says, do you have a lady? And you've described that earlier.
Yes, I do.
And very happy.
Yes, very happy.
All right. So let me see here. Linda says, what is your favorite city to do a concert?
My favorite city to do a concert is whichever city people are showing up to see me.
I was wondering how Brian was going to answer that. What's the most emotional song you ever wrote? That's from Tony.
Emotional, wow. That's a tough one. On my last CD is when my fiance and I, we really solidified our relationship, and that whole record is dedicated to her. Every single song, and really every single song since, she's inspired. But the title track, Better, is the template and the blueprint of our life and our relationship.
Wow. So the second time around by Shalimar, that's true.
Yeah, because you know what? Nobody should be married at 20. No one should, start off their life that way when you're so young, when you haven't really done much of anything. Right. You need the experience of knowing who you are, what you want. And I think that it's unfortunate that I found that at 42, but most people don't ever find that. So it's not about when you find it, it's that you find it.
Love it, man. You are, I'm going back to our Facebook Live questions because they're waiting for you, Brian.
Okay.
But I also have to ask you, man, you've achieved success, and now you're taking your sons to the next level, and that is so awesome. But there are so many people out here that, whether they're singers, dancers, whatever they do, whatever talent that they have, they're dreaming about it and not going out to get it, you know. What would you suggest to that person that's just dreaming to make it reality?
I think that the dream is the first place to start. If you're not dreaming about something, you're probably not going to get there. What you have to figure out is how to get there, and how much of yourself you're willing to put into that, how much time, how much effort. Very few successful people got there without doing anything. They did it, they continue to do it, and they are still doing it now. So that's what you have to figure out for yourself, because there's going to be roadblocks. How do you get past the obstacles? Because we all have them. Nobody that's gotten there didn't get diverted on their way there. So you have to figure it out for yourself, you know, what it is you want, and then figure out how to go and get it.
Love it. You heard that. You heard it from Brian McKnight. So from Facebook Live, Zena says, how does it feel? How do you feel about the music trending today?
Here's what I feel about today's music, particularly the music that are being made by the younger generation. We all had our music at that age. And you don't ever want to be the older person in the room saying, oh, I hate this or I hate that. You know, these kids are expressing themselves the way they can and the way they want to. So I applaud them. I applaud them for their efforts. I applaud them for the voice that they have, and that they are carrying on their own musical tradition, because they couldn't have done what we do. The same way we couldn't have done what the guys that did before us. We did what we did based on how we felt about what we were doing for ourselves. So obviously the knee-jerk reaction is, man, I don't like any of these young whippersnappers' music, but I dig it, because they have their voice, they have their way of expressing themselves, and it's being accepted by their generation, and I love it.
Love it, man. You're awesome, Brian. I love the way you're answering these questions.
That's not always the way I would have answered that. I had to really take a step back and really had to look at it from a different perspective, and that's what I come up with.
When you walked in, I'm like, this dude's in shape. Like, is it a serious workout program, man? Dude, you are working. You're doing your thing, Brian McKnight.
You know what, man? For most of my life, I didn't really have to do much of anything. As you get older, you know, your metabolism slows down, and again, you get the love of the right woman who takes care of you, man. Woo! She feeds you right, she makes sure you up at the right time, you get enough sleep, and you know, you too can have a six-pack at 48. I'm just saying.
Brian McKnight, ladies and gentlemen, he will be in Indianapolis, Indiana tonight. We love Indy. Anything you want to tell anybody that's listening in Indianapolis?
I would just say thank you. 25 years this year, the anniversary of my first album, and still going strong. And it's only because I am only what I am because of the people that love what I do. So thank you, Indy, for supporting me from the very beginning. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And we're going to be supporting you tonight. Man, this is almost like a sellout. But I think you can go online right now, eventbrite.com, search Brian McKnight, and it might be a few tickets left. So go online. You don't want to miss it. He's a nice guy. Like, I couldn't wait to meet Brian McKnight, Shavonna. I've been doing this a long time, and I meet the guy, I play his music every day.
Every day.
And I talk highly of you, though, man.
Just be glad we're not on the basketball court. I'm not that nice there. If we're gambling on the golf course, you know, we could be friends after in the clubhouse. But, you know, in here, I'm Mr. Nice.
I can tell I know he has a game, don't he? Brian can play some ball. I can see that. Man, tonight at the Rooftop, we're so looking forward to this. It is a beautiful place, man, and we can't wait to hear Brian McKnight's music tonight.
Thank you.
Anything else can we look forward to with Brian McKnight? Movies? Anything else?
Just right now it's Genesis. Genesis out 8/25/17. I truly believe, I'm not just saying this because this is my next one, this is the greatest record I've made in a very, very long time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is this the album or a record?
The entire album.
Okay, so is there another single is there another song that's coming up next? Or
it's coming up next. We haven't decided. There's so many great ones on this one. We can't decide what to come with next. I'm telling you, that's the dilemma we have right now.
I've always wondered how you do that. Like Forever. How did you pick Forever out of all these beautiful songs?
Well, Forever was already written. Okay. It was on my the live album.
Okay.
So it was a no-brainer to have that one come out. This next one's gonna be tough because I've written all these songs after that one has been out. So we'll see.
Okay. Brian McKnight at the Rooftop tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the one and only Brian McKnight. Tonight at the Rooftop, Indianapolis, get ready. This is going to be grown and sexy. Get sharp and come and hang out with Brian McKnight. And hey, bring your boo, your significant other, you know?
Yeah. Or not. That's fine too.
Yeah.
There'll be plenty there for you to...